The NIST Risk Management Framework, or RMF, is the most widely used step-by-step process for managing cybersecurity and privacy risk in the United States federal government and in thousands of private sector organizations in 2026. Today, I'm walking you through every single one of the 7 steps of the NIST RMF exactly as they exist right now, with real examples from AWS, Azure, and on-prem environments, the exact templates you can start using this week, and the most common mistakes that cause audits to fail. By the end of this video, you will be able to explain the full RMF lifecycle confidently in any GRC interview and actually begin implementing it on real systems on your first day in a new role. If that sounds like the practical, no-fluff guidance you've been looking for, stay until the end because I'm giving you the exact NIST RMF templates that are already inside the free starter kit. Welcome to Applied ITGRC, the channel for visual, no-fluff templates, real tool demos, and roadmaps that actually get implemented inside real IT and security teams. Let's break down the 7 steps of the NIST RMF as they stand in 2026. Step 1 is prepare, and this is the step most organizations still skip, which is why so many risk programs fall apart later. In prepare, you define your organization's overall risk tolerance, set up governance, and make sure you have the right people and processes ready before you touch any system. Real example, a bank migrating customer data to AWS decides its risk tolerance is low for confidentiality. They create a risk management strategy document and assign the CISO as the authorizing official. If you skip this, you'll end up selecting controls that are either too weak or way too expensive. The template for this step is the Risk Management Strategy Worksheet in your starter kit. Step 2 is Categorize. You classify every information system as low, moderate, or high impact based on what would happen if confidentiality, integrity, or availability were lost. Real example, you have a customer database in Azure that contains PII. Using NIST SP 800-60 tables, you categorize it as high impact because a breach would cause severe harm to individuals. I'll show you the exact categorization spreadsheet from the starter kit that does 80% of the work for you. Common mistake, treating everything as moderate and then wondering why auditors push back. Step 3 is select. You choose the right security and privacy controls from NIST SP 853 revision 5.2.0, the latest update from August 2025. You start with the baseline for your impact level and then tailor it. Real example, for that high-impact Azure database, you select Control AC2, Account Management, and tailor it to use Azure AD Privileged Identity Management with just-in-time access. You also add the new SA24 control for software resiliency, because the system handles customer payments. I show you exactly how to use the control selection template in the starter kit, so you don't have to start from a blank 1,000-row spreadsheet. Step 4 is implement. Now you actually put those controls in place and document evidence. Real example, for AC2 in AWS, you configure IAM roles with least privilege, enable CloudTrail logging, and export the configuration as evidence. For on-prem servers, you use group policy to enforce password complexity. I'll show screenshots of what good implementation evidence actually looks like, the kind auditors accept on the first pass. The biggest mistake here is implementing controls without documenting how you did it. Step 5 is assess. You test whether the controls are working as intended. Real example, you run an Azure Security Center assessment, plus a manual review of your IAM policies, and document the results in the assessment plan template that's in the starter kit. You note that one control partially failed because MFA wasn't enforced on a legacy system. That's okay. You just document the remediation plan. Step 6 is authorize. The senior leader formally accepts the residual risk. Real example, you compile the system security plan, the risk assessment report, the assessment results, and the plan of action and milestones into one authorization package. The CISO reviews it and signs the authorization to operate letter for the next 3 years, with a condition that the legacy system gets decommissioned within 6 months. I'll show you the exact structure of a real authorization package that gets approved faster. Step 7 is monitor. This is continuous monitoring, not a once-a-year checkbox. Real example. You set up AWS config rules and Azure Monitor alerts that automatically notify you if any control drifts. Every quarter, you update the risk register and report to leadership using the monitoring dashboard template in the starter kit. When a new vulnerability appears in your Azure environment, the system flags it automatically. The biggest 2026 shift is that regulators now expect continuous monitoring, not annual snapshots. By following the full 7 steps the way I just showed you, with the real AWS/Azure examples, the exact control tailoring, the evidence screenshots, and the templates from the starter kit, you will be able to map the RMF to any system, speak confidently with auditors, and actually reduce risk instead of just documenting it. If this practical, step-by-step breakdown helped you finally understand how the NIST RMF works in the real world, do me a quick favor and hit the like button, subscribe with notifications on, and follow at Applied ITGRC on X for daily tips and more templates. Don't forget to grab the free NIST RMF templates from the starter kit link in the description. It includes the Categorization Spreadsheet, Control Selection Template, Assessment Plan, Authorization Package Checklist, and Monitoring Dashboard. Next video drops this Tuesday. ISO 27001 controls. Every IT pro must apply.